And then after him, we'll have dinner. And then get ready to go take a nap in the Galactic sound bath. Woo-hoo! Everybody come to the front, please. Time to come to the front. Te tuta taina, hoya na seya, kochoya mate ya no, aye seya yo. Remember singing that? Totoya seya neya, uaya teya yo. So yeah, sometimes I'll get downloads of songs that they want us to sing, so it's pretty awesome. And changes the frequency. But we have Tom here. He's been coming to Collective Frequency for a long time, like 2 years now? Yeah, about 2 years. So I've seen him grow up. Anyways, I'm so excited because he is like a pure vessel of light. He's true star being. And I like to say that he's more androgynous. It's not a label, but it's just kind of his fluidness. And we just love being around him because he just kind of makes us feel pure at heart. So it's pretty awesome. We love you, Tom.
I love you guys too.
I'm so excited.
Thank you for having us all come together, Tammy. It's a lot to me. Hi everybody, I'm Tom. I am a dirt-worshipping, earth-hugging hippie. And that's what I've been doing for
the past few years. I've been mostly living like a spiritual lifestyle. Always known as different, like since I was little. My friends were like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, a witch doctor. And like, you gotta chase your dreams and do what you want to do. So I took a natural path of healing, and that's what I want to share. More so than like channeling ancestors and spirit guides, I want to share the tools that all of us can use for ourselves to better our own well-being and understanding of our spirit. So a lot of spiritual people who come to teach talk about receiving downloads and channeling messages from source. And I think the only true downloads are ones that serve the full circle purpose of man, animal, and plant migrating together towards a healthier relationship. And I'm also going to be talking from a book called Towards a Planetary Vision from David Spangler. Can you pass me my bags, Tammy? So my main topic will be sharing my perspective on the transformative journey we're all on and the development of our authentic personality and the dissolvement of the illusions that keep us from evolving. I'm nervous. She feels my vibe. Okay, so right now the migration of consciousness in mankind is transitioning from spectrums of awareness. Some tribes call it the 13th ray of awareness, rainbow fire ray. Some tribes call it the 7th ray of awareness. But it's one of divisiveness and self-orientation towards the whole, towards working as a unity. Right now mankind is in the 6th ray of awareness, which is devotionalism. So right now everybody's becoming devoted to their religions, their genders, their nations, the classes of the society around them, and that's good and bad, because not only does it unify people, but it separates people. How there's race wars, how there's religion wars, all those paradigms have to dissolve so that we can work as a unity. So, reading from the book, one of the great challenges at the present time in human affairs is the challenge of nourishment. We live in a world in which a very small percentage of the world's population, occupying a few countries, primarily 2 or 3 or 4, consume something like 70 to 80% of the world's resources and nourishment. This condition of imbalance, both ecologically and politically, will only lead, if incorrected, to unmitigated and unqualified disaster. What is required is an awareness on the part of individuals that opens them not towards pulling things into themselves for their own use alone, but towards giving, sharing, managing resources, and using the many gifts of the planet for the good of the whole planet of humanity.
This kind of thing has been about for time, but within the past 5 years, urgency, sense of something needing to be done, and cultivation of an awareness within human consciousness, the responsibility of the highly industrialized scientific development of the developing countries is very much more powerful at the forefront of human consciousness. And so we're going to have to work together and stop relying on evil programming, things that are only destructive in the end. So, in order to do that, we all have to return to who we were as humanity in the beginning, before we installed all the false programmings. Like Patricio said, we have to remember the original instructions. We have all these tools readily available at our use to not only heal our own awareness in relationship to our environment, but we can literally transform our environment. And I want to show you some of the tools that I use to do that. So this is a Tibetan sound bowl, and this is an instrument with many uses and functions. It can be used to project your intentions. It can be used to vibrate any stagnant energies off of your being. If you place water within this, the vibration of it can change it to a more ionic, compatible structure with your body. Let your cells absorb it better. So let me show you what it sounds like. Did everybody feel the shift of energy in the room? You can transform your environment. And this is the power of like only one individual and one tool at a time. If we all come together and utilize the gifts and resources we have for the betterment of each other and like in collaboration, we can change the whole world. But it has to start with us. It does have to start with communities that are breaking off from the false programmings and
writing New Age instructions for the original program. And one of the gifts we all share is the ability to manifest. Not only can we manifest a unique lifestyle, like the lifestyle we want, but we can manifest well-being for others all around us just by carrying the well-being within yourself. And that's part of being a conduit of transformative energy. It's not about I, me, I. It's about the transformation that we achieve by interacting with each other. So recently, me and my sister had been struggling with money and directionlessness. So we were like, let's do a manifestation project and write out some mantras and believe in them and repeat them every day and meditate upon them and believe that they'll come true. So what I wrote for money, my mantra for money was, this worked. It's so nice to have money. It worked. I have the money I need. It's so nice. I never have to worry. And so when you're manifesting anything into your life, you have to kind of carry the energy that it's already with you, that well-being is already in your life. Once you project that, it circulates around and comes back to you. The second mantra I wrote is for well-being. It's so nice feeling peaceful and abundant. I have no need to worry. Thank you, Creator, for this new mind, this new body, a new sense of well-being. It feels good knowing my loved ones are happy, healthy, and cared for. And by believing in these things every day, you can transform your own well-being. And if you believe you're also transforming the well-being of those around you, it happens. Now I want to read a little bit more from this book. So, one thing I kind of want to share, that a vision a lot of the seers have been sharing, is how the false programming has to collapse before it's renewed, how things have to come to a harsh end before they can be born again. And so this is talking about the age of Aquarius and the architects of Aquarius, who are going to have to be the builders. Many leaders in the New Age movement are considered prophets to themselves and many others, and the majority of their prophecies to me seem to revolve around the concepts of destruction. There is truth in this. When you have living water that has been iced up, at some point the ice has to shatter and dissolve for the living stream to move again. And there is moving, in fact, it has been moving for over 100 years, a force through our society which is a force of divine will, which as it impacts within human culture is highly destructive. It is destructive because the old forms, the forms in which man has encased his life, must be shattered so that new life can emerge. It is no different than a snake shedding its skin. But the New Age movement postulates that in many of its manifestations and understandings and teachings, the existence of a forthcoming event, an economic collapse, a war, the planet will tilt on its axis, something is going to happen which will release forces within the earth, which will transform the planet. Now undoubtedly, there is a truth embodied in this. Part of the truth, however, is an ancient memory rather than a present reality. For when man existed in the rather instinctual state of primitive man, or more primitive than he is now, such as in the Atlantean cultures, the only way in which man could undergo change once crystallization had set in through planetary cataclysm. Cataclysm was the teaching method and the regenerative method which the guardians of the race employed simply because humanity was not possessed at that time of sufficient self-initiative to do anything on its own to change the conditions. Like a child who is caught into a bad habit, the parent may have to step in and do something to change the child's environment, to alter the habit pattern, because the child is not mature enough or understanding enough. And we're those people. We're those ones who are going to be at the forefront of all the chaos and all the collapsing and all the change, and we will have to roll with the punches if we're going to see a new society come through. There are three major centers which affect evolution upon this planet, three centers of power or influence or energy. One of these is called Shambhala. Although it does have a spatial location in the Gobi Desert, this is not a place as much as it is a state of consciousness. That state, that awareness, that presence in which the will of God is known, the purposeful intent of the Creator for this planet is known, and that intent is in itself a living energy. The second center is what is called the hierarchy of the communion of saints, or the White Brotherhood, or the Masters of Compassion and Wisdom. They have many names, but they represent those beings, both human and non-human, or devic, or who have evolved out of humanity, or out of the Deva evolution, and have achieved a state of God consciousness or illumination. The third great center is the center of humanity. Always before in human history, the will to change and the energy that affects change has emerged from the first two centers. Will coming forth from Shambhala, love, wisdom, energy coming from the hierarchy, the mind or intelligence aspect which humanity is destined to unfold and make manifest has not been so prevalently expressed. Quite literally, man has not evolved enough to make the necessary changes all by himself to transform this world. But that condition is now changing. Man is now at a point where a significant number of the race can take on themselves the burden, if burden it is, or the responsibility. The challenge of responsibility, or the joy of being the instrument of divine intelligence, which, blended with love, with wisdom, and with creative will, can transform the planet. No longer then does the burden lie upon the overlords of planetary evolution. It is at least partly shared and perhaps to a great extent shared by humanity. This is the most significant aspect of the New Age. Past ages, when transformation has occurred or revelation has been given, have been inaugurated by an individual or a very small group of individuals. This age is different. There may be many individuals manifesting. There may be and probably will be another physical manifestation of an avatar, an illuminated being representing the head of the hierarchy, but the significant manifestation of transforming energy is going to emerge from the corporate consciousness of humanity itself, that both our destined glory and our opportunity. We are being asked in this age not only to be experiencers and observers of change, but actual architects of change. Those who can grasp the plan of the Master Builder and bring that plan down into externalization with intelligence, with right use of free will, with wisdom, with love, and with purposeful intent or illuminated will. We are asked to be architects of Aquarius. The ancient prophecies which tend to relate to our time, particularly prophecies dealing with destruction, emerged from an age and from a consciousness when humanity was not yet at a point where it could, all by itself, take on the burden of creating transformation. It was primarily through divine intervention and transformation was brought about. Cataclysm was the method of change in those days, and it is only logical to realize that when the ancient consciousnesses sought to interpret these events as best as they could to perceive them within the mind of God, they interpret them within the context of their understanding. We are now having to deal with their interpretation. In some cases, the way in which we deal with it will determine exactly how easily we can make the transition from one age to another. For prophecies have a definite way of being self-fulfilling, and if a great number of people are convinced that the world will undergo certain kinds of changes in a specific fashion, then indeed the world will undergo those changes in that fashion. Me too. Me too.
So with that, how does that make you feel?
It makes me happy but sad. Like, we're all finally coming together to realize what we were doing in the first place, but it's kind of sad because it's like coming to an end. It's like saying goodbye to everything. But hello to a new beginning. I think we're gonna, right now is like the time of luxury, where everybody's well fed and set for a good while, before everything gets really weird and really destructive, and where we're all gonna be left to fend for ourselves. So that we can create a community that can survive these conditions and changes and be the forefront of these conditions and changes. And not only do we have to submit to the chaos, but we can control it and make something new out of it. Oh yeah, so
Another tool that we can all use to evolve, and right now evolving means that we kind of need to take a step backwards from all the destructive programming and return to our roots, turn to people who are in harmony with the land. So like, I made little seed bags for everybody for next season. They're cantaloupe seeds. So this is the collective frequency card. Plant these seeds with all your love, knowing all seeds we plant will grow if we nurture them, water them, and love them as we should with Mother Earth. Our children, all creation on our planet, and most of all ourselves. Spread seeds of love and let's raise the frequency. Does anybody have questions?
Yes, please do.
Wait, hold on. I might want to read something real quick. Wow, wow. To be an architect of Aquarius means accepting one factor about the New Age, that it is not just happening. We are helping to make it happen. Yes, there are energies coming from other great centers, the hierarchy and Shambhala, which will cause things to happen on Earth. We are seeing a lot of these things happen, upheavals here and changes there, but that is not all by itself the New Age. The New Age is now a three-pronged effort, not a two-pronged effort, and if we simply wait for the other two builders to do their thing, we will have missed the significance of what the New Age means. For it means the initiation of man out of a state of spiritual dependency into the state of spiritual maturity and Christhood, where he can at long last in significant numbers begin to wear the mantle of responsibility to his world and say, I too am a creator on this planet, and as a son of God, I can fulfill my creative responsibility. It is not enough to be aware of prophecy or to be aware of great energies moving from other dimensions as guided by the hierarchy or whatever. I must know what is happening to me as an individual. What am I experiencing emotionally, mentally? How can I transform it into that which is a blessing to my world? Let me not say, well, I don't know how to do this, because we have had plenty of trainings down the ages. Buddha taught us, Jesus taught us, it is available in teachings of people now. It is there if we choose to look for it, but even more importantly, it is there if we choose to act on it. That is where the missing link has been, the lack of true, intelligent, wise action. We have idealized the spiritual life and worshipped it. In the New Age, we must utilize it as a tool and build with it. Spiritual life is our magical instrument by which we as divine magicians can transform our planet. This is the New Age vision, what man is capable of and what man will become because of his own self-initiated efforts in harmony with the aid that he is being given from the other sources. A new age dawns upon the earth, the call goes forth above the clamor and the battle sounds of Armageddon, that now there will be peace on earth and goodwill flowing between men, for now is the age and the birth of the Christ consciousness within the heart of humanity. As this call sounds, will we respond? The blueprint is unfolded upon the table of our hearts and of our minds. All of the universe asks of us in this question, man, individually, collectively, will you respond and become an architect of Aquarius? Any questions, anybody? It's called Towards a Planetary Vision by David Spangler. Towards a Planetary Vision by David Spangler. You're welcome.
I have a question. How did this book come into your possession? What was the, how did this book come into your possession? And what do you know about the author?
I went to the Crystal Dove and I was just looking in the dollar section for books, and and the lady selling books was like, have I met you before? And I was like, I go to a lot of meditation centers, and she's like, I feel like you would really learn a lot from this, so she recommended it to me. And I don't know much about David Spangler, but she said he was a really brilliant author.
He also spent quite a bit of time in Scotland and wrote a lot of his materials there. While the original people there, I forget their names and last names, but he was one of those that was instrumental in a lot of change over there. And then he moved.
Go ahead.
So how do you envision
Well, honestly, from experiences that I've had so far, I think if a group of spiritually balanced and intelligent people could cultivate their willpower to create a society out in nature, out beyond the limits of the program that we've been instilled, that we can maintain it. That we do have that responsibility within ourselves innately to sustain an organic environment.
So I'm going to go further. What's your organic environment?
Like pretty much a farm, you know what I mean? Like a place where people can produce their own food and livestock and means of sustaining their life and survival. I don't think we're going to be able to rely on toxicity for too much longer.
There is a community, I think it's in the Netherlands, it's called the New Eden, and it has been built and started by young people your age and a little older. And they have gardens and farming, and they have a business aspect, they have an educational aspect, and they have a spiritual aspect. And it's online, I can't remember his name right now, but there's a young man who shares the vision and shares his participation in it on his webpage. and he's just brilliant. And he's only like 25. He's absolutely an inspiration. And people are coming from all over the world to go to this center for whatever amount of time, a few weeks maybe, and then bringing that vision and that cultivation of thought and this new business ideas and bringing it back out to their communities. And there are many of those communities here too. That's what it's taking. That's what's coming. That's what's coming.
I think it's really beautiful how if you really look for it and associate yourself with the right people, you will find those communities and opportunities to be part of them, like how we're all here now. So I want to share what I wrote down at the beginning of the year, my 2018 goals. I put mastering these skills. ESP, dreaming, astral projection, manifestation, meditation, yoga and exercise, and grounding myself. And these all didn't happen right away. None of these happened right away. Like, honestly, it probably took me around recently to really start achieving any of these. But if you put your intent and your focus every day, even just a little bit of it, into something you really want to build and see come true, it will manifest itself. I have some more mantras. Oh. Go ahead, tell me.
How can we help you?
Plant these seeds and care for them.
So, you kind of answered the question by sharing what your intentions are. Mine is lately really moving towards this, so I'm just sharing. I really believe as a unified group of people, because once you get unification with a group of people, that we alone can just put energy towards water and heal the water. Do you think that's so?
To an extent, I think we're able to heal things in our environment with the right energy and right intentions, but more than anything, we're able to transform the environment within ourselves. Yeah. Yes, Tiffany? Yes. They're gluten-free. So, a monkey. It's my monkey.
Yes. I was listening to your words and this the author's words and thinking about our nature around us, where animals, they share their food with each other, and they interact with each other, play with each other, and it sounds like we need to get back to that simplistic way of life. Did the author intend his vision to be just for us in the United States, or is this like a global
Towards a planetary vision
planetary?
for everybody.
Okay, so they talk about the arms race, the atom bomb, and nuclear proliferation, and somewhere I read a lot of stuff, but somewhere I read that perhaps maybe that's all just an illusion in terms of nuclear weaponry. What are your thoughts, personal thoughts about weapons, mass destruction?
It's happened many times already, not only on our planet, but on other planets. And I think we've woken up already to be responsible and to not repeat those mistakes, but it might be necessary along our current timeline for those to happen again, for us to rebuild. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope mankind just pulls its head out of its ass and learns to redistribute its resources, but there's a lot of greedy people who run the world, and they have to fall out of power before we can.
I have a question about the seeds. I'm a bit of a seed keeper, and all the seeds in my seed library basically have a bit of pedigree. So I wasn't going to take the seeds, but Tanner said, no, you have to take the seeds because they're collective frequency seeds. But now I have to deal with the fact that I don't know the pedigree of these seeds. So before I can put them into my seed library with all my pedigreed seeds, can you tell me where these seeds came from?
Okay, so there's this little vegetable market down in the South Valley called the Rio Grande Vegetable Market, and they sell organic produce. And so I bought me a cantaloupe from there, and I ate it, and I saved the seeds. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to remind everybody, is that all the food we waste, like the ends of our celery and like the things that we normally toss, we can regrow most of the vegetables that we eat. Like the little stems from the head of lettuce or like onions or whatever. America is so wasteful. So wasteful. We're, like literally, if everybody could work together, we could like redistribute well-being to the world, but a lot of change has to happen before we could do that. Any other questions? Oh.
You talked about waste, yes. This is a long time ago, but when I was living in Boulder, Colorado, Ben and I were very, very poor. They were really into Buddhism, and I don't know what I was into. And what I ended up learning from them, though, was going to supermarkets, and in the garbage, we would pull out just bruised vegetables and clean them off. We had a smorgasbord. It was absolutely incredible. People don't touch them because supposedly it's bruised, but honestly, you just peel it off, clean it, and it's perfectly fine. So, yeah, we waste a ton. We could be feeding lots and lots of people.
That's true. How much more time do I have, Tammy?
5 more minutes.
Okay, let me give you all a little meditation session.
Oh, that bowl can be used to heat soup.
I've made potions with this, like many different kinds of potions. Potions for health, potions for prosperity, potions for like changes in my life, and they all work. They all work. So when I'm doing this, the best way to receive it is to just relax and breathe deeply. vibration at the beginning, and we're all returning to vibration. And on the way there, we're learning to let go of impurities, of things that are illusion, things that don't serve the highest good, and the whole well-being of our collective consciousness. Feel the good vibes. Be part of the good vibes. You'll change the world. You're welcome.
Woo! So he come along with me real shy at teaching, but he knows that he has to step it up a little bit. He's I'm so nervous, but I'm glad he's here and he took charge. Yay! And we're going to be breaking for dinner here. If you guys are leaving, that's fine. Or if you want to eat enchiladas from Garcia's